Step 6, now that we have nicely cut our tub liner, as you can see, clean lines at the front along the sides, we then install the tub liner back in, put back on the tie down points that are part of the tub liner, front and the back. We then prepare what we need next, which is our 6 clamps, okay, 3 on either side, as you can see we've laid out here. We need a drill with a 29mm bit hole saw and a 13mm spanner here. Prior to the canopy going on, what we do is we polyurethane the front. So we get our polyurethane gun here with the 2 tubes you receive in your fitting kit. We run 2 beads, as you can see, along the front. Nice and easy. From end to end. Now this is only at the front only first. And then you run a second bead just in front. And what this does is when the canopy sits on, it will compress and seal the front, because it's hard to get access to the front when the canopy is on the car. Once you've put 2 beads, now you're ready to lift the canopy and rest it onto the car. Step 6.1, now that we urethane the front, as you saw in step 6, we then recommend grabbing 4 guys to comfortably lift the canopy onto the vehicle. As you can see, we've done this here. Once the canopy sits on the vehicle, we then line it up, check all our lines on the sides to the front, right to the back, just to make sure she's nicely lined up. We also close the rear door prior to clamping, just to make sure that the door locks in on both sides, left and right. We then also check underneath to make sure that the seal is nicely sealed right along the tailgate here. This is important, as you don't want the canopy to be too far forward, which may cause issues with locking, hence why we check everything before we clamp it. Once we've done this check here, we then also check on the inside, just to make sure that everything is lining up. Keeping in mind, our canopies also do fit with tub liners. However, as mentioned, 9 times out of 10, we trim the tub liner. As you can see, it gives you a better finish on the outside. With the tailgate, we do leave the tub liner lip here, as you can see. In some instances, because the canopies can fit with a tub liner, and here we've cut it, we do normally add a couple spaces, which sometimes are required. What that does, just elevates the back end here, okay, to allow a bit more clearance for tailgates with tub liners. Step 6.2, now that we've urethaned the front of the tub and set our canopy on the back, ensuring we've checked the alignment of the canopy on sides and back, as well as ensuring that the rear door does close and shut prior to clamping, we now move on to the next step, which is clamping our canopy down. Keeping in mind, we always start from the rear of the canopy, which we're about to show you. We grab our 29 drill bit hole saw, we mark our hole right there. We only drill through the tub liner, as you can see here, which gives us a little bit of excess to where the tub is for our clamping. So now we grab our clamp, hook it onto the canopy, bolt it onto the base and to the back. Then we grab our 13mm spanner or ratchet spanner. You tighten the back end first, then the front. As we tighten the front of the clamp now, which is compressing the canopy to the vehicle, it's always good to ensure and to check on the outside here, okay? Just run your fingers there, you'll feel the canopy slowly compressing down. The minute you feel the canopy compress down a little bit, another couple more turns, and that's firm tension is all we require. As per step 6.2, where we showed you how we drill and prepare our clamp to clamp the canopy to the vehicle, you then follow the same step on both sides, as you can see here, middle, front, on the left as well. So we clamp from the rear first, you do both sides, you then clamp the front on both sides, then your middles you leave till last. The middle clamps are only firm tight, so you don't have to over tighten them. And as you can see, once we finish clamping them, we then install the covers on them. Step 6.3, once you have clamped the canopy down, we then close the tailgate, just like that. We grab our rear door, slam it shut, make sure it locks in on both sides, okay? Just do a quick check of the canopy that we've clamped down now. And ready now to move on to the sealing of the canopy to the car. Step 7, now we're moving on to urethaning. As you can see, how we achieve the nice clean lines is we mask up, as we're just showing you here. Start from the top there, our nice clean lines following the canopy line. So we just prepare that there. So we mask up, starting from here. We pick our lines on the canopy, as you can see there. So this process we run with the top first, and the same on the bottom. Moving on to the other side, something we set up earlier. This is how the finish should look like when it's ready for urethane. As you can see here, top and bottom. So the masking tape is to give us nice clean lines, as well as protect the excess urethaning not to go onto the car. And that's how it should look like, ready for urethaning. Step 7.1, now that we've completed the preparation for the urethaning, which is masking up the top of the canopy and the bottom here, we now start from the front of the canopy applying the urethane. As you can see here, nice and easy. In between the canopy and the tub. Right around to the side and finish off here. Once we've applied the beta urethane, as you can see here, what we then do, we've got to smooth this out. So we grab a rubber glove, start from the front end, apply a bit of pressure, as well as run your finger right along the gap. As you can see, you get a lot of excess, hence why we put the tape right at the front. You'll then do this 2 to 3 times, just to make sure the urethane is nicely filled in there and you get the nice clean lines. So go for a second time around, bit of pressure, there's that nice finish there. And this is what it should look like. Step 8, now that we have finished urethaning our canopy, you can see here the nice clean lines, nicely finished. We then move on to the wiring, which is our last step for completing the canopy. On the canopy, you'll notice there's the wire that comes out from the front down to the bottom here, which from factory we install the connection. Inside the finicky, as mentioned earlier on, you'll find the wiring harness. This is where it comes into use now. We start from the front, where the battery is. You'll have the 2 ends of the wiring harness here, okay, which connect to the battery terminals. We also have our own fuse as well, okay. We then run the wiring harness down the engine bay, which will come out of the bottom here, as you see. Now, obviously, when we run the wire, it's not nicely tucked underneath the vehicle, okay. We do provide cable ties, okay, to cable tie the wire so it doesn't hang down loose, right along to the back. On the wiring harness, when you get to the center here, you have the connection which will plug into our canopy wire, okay, which will then continue along to the back where you have the back end connection. So when we come along here, you'll notice earlier on we did show you that you'll have a quick instruction guide on the back end of the wiring, which this is the back end that connects to the tail lamp. You connect these up. Once you connect that up and to the battery, this will then allow you to have the interior light work as well as the brake light on the back of the canopy here. One final note, now that we have completed the installation of the carryboard canopy, it is important to know that the urethane requires 24-hour curing time. When we close the rear door, after we apply the fresh urethane, it is important that when we close the door, just for 24 hours, is we just firmly click it in just like that, only for 24 hours to avoid any air pockets from the pressure of slamming the door. After that, the door can be opened and closed like normal. Lastly, there is the warranty card here, which is given to the customer on completion, as well as his 3 keys, which are all key alike for his carryboard canopy. Just a note back to step 3, removal and cutting of the tub liner. We did mention when you remove the tub line, it's always good to check, as you might have light scuff marks, as you can see here, which again are easy polished out. However, 9 times out of 10, as mentioned, we do remove it and trim it to give you a better finish. It is an option if the customer doesn't want it cut and left. The canopy can still be installed, which is not a problem. So it's good just to check with them and let them know. But as mentioned, if you're required to leave the tub liner and fit the canopy, that's not a problem at all.